Hey everyone. I'm going to broadcast like a million people are watching me, but I know it's late everywhere I'm posting, everywhere I'm streaming. And this is end of day of PAX day, or end of PAX day 1. I would have liked to have done this with my partner in crime, Pedro, but we had a little bit of a technical difficulty with Pedro. I'll inform you guys about what happened soon. Maybe I'll ask his permission to tweet out what happened and see what he wants to say. Anywho, PAX day 1. Wow. Let me oh, I didn't get to post as much as I wanted to onto Instagram and Facebook and the Twitter feed, just because I was just absorbing it all. This has been a different PAX. Um, we've got some new people, some new friends with us today, and because of that, we just had to do some changes. Also, we had a big announcement. We had Gearbox with their, uh, with their panel, and PAX East isn't always the biggest uh, release show for sure. It tends to be one of those shows where it falls. It's after the holidays. You have PAX South. GDC happened last week, so that's usually around the same time that GDC always is. But the developers don't usually end up showing anything big enough to have on the show floor here at PAX East, and usually companies want to hold everything back for E3 in June. So PAX East tends to be kind of a lull. They tend to show games that are going to be released in the spring, maybe early summer, games that we've already known about that were announced last year. So we don't get big announcements. But I don't know. I think Gearbox felt that PAX East was one of the big shows for them. We were at the show, I think PAX East 2012, 2013, probably 2012, where Borderlands 2 was the big show. I mean, they had the big booth. They had it running. You could play it. I remember standing in line and getting to play that. It was phenomenal. It was a fantastic event. But here we were. They had their panel at 2:00, which wasn't right at the very beginning. It was the first big panel outside of the Penny Arcade stuff after the Q&A. So line started up at noon, and the line was capped by 1 p.m. There was over 3,000 people in the main theater. And they hyped you up, and the first thing they did as soon as we lined up is they handed these out to everybody that was on the in line. So we got it's not not super high quality, but here it is. Here's the mask. It's definitely pretty neat. Pretty cool. So they gave us the masks, and then they filed us in, and we waited about 20 minutes or so as we sat there waiting around 1:30. They had clips, and I mean, if you were watching the live stream, they were probably showing the same thing. They were showing lots of pictures of cosplay, pictures of individuals dressed up, and fan art, and all sorts of things. So it was neat. Like you could really tell that there was a lot of things going on with them. They were going to show a lot. When they got on stage, they announced quite a few things. They announced, they announced Bulletstorm coming to the Switch, which was awesome. They announced, man, all honesty, they were having technical difficulties after the main announcement, or after the video stopped. A lot of their video was choppy. They kept having a lot of lag issues, and one of the big things that they announced was Borderlands 1. I guess it's a remaster, or it's interesting. This is kind of new to them. They're not asking you to pay again for the game. If you already own it on PC, your copy of Game of the Year will get updated on April 3rd. You'll get an update with with all the information, with all the new textures and 4K update. For PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, they've never released Borderlands 1, so that will be a new purchase for sure. And that was big. They had trouble running the trailer, so they didn't run it. But it looked beautiful. But by the end of the panel, they showed it at the end. And then of course they showed the board game, which I bought. It's fantastic. Let me pull that up. Give me 1 second here. All right. So, again, I'm broadcasting to no one, but this will get saved and put up on our channel so that other people can watch it later on. But here's the game. Borderlands Tiny Tina's Robot Tea Party, which I played tonight. I sat down and played it with our interim host, Jordan, who was on our VR episode. He sat down and played it with me, and it's a fantastic little game here. Real quick, it says it's 2 to 5 players. 2 to 5 players, age 13 and up. Although I'll probably have my kids play this, even though it says age 13 and up, which is funny because there's no cussing involved in it. There's no bad language, which I think is funny. So I don't know why not. There's no violence either. That's the inside of the box. It's got Claptrap and Tiny Tina's new mask, actually, which is interesting. It's already using, well, it might be her old mask, but that's what her new mask looks like in Borderlands 3. So, yeah, I can't tell if this art is new art for Borderlands 3 or Borderlands 2 art. She looks a little older in that art. I can't tell there. Either way, good set of rules. It's got a bunch of notations by Tiny Tina in it. This is done by XYZ Labs. They've done a couple other games. This is kind of like a reskin to one of their games that they've already got. It's like a robot builder game, which I haven't played before, but it's interesting. The point of the game is to build Claptrap. So the game starts off with you've got body pieces. So you choose a body. You can choose all the different Claptraps as your main body. And you have to build the matching Claptrap with your cards. So there are, let's see here, like the wizard arm and I guess the party one. So there's a piece of pizza or the party Claptrap. These are action cards. So different action cards have different things. Like this card is called Bring the Pain. Scrap a part from any Claptrap and you may attach a part. So it's these cards kind of like you can screw over the other players by like taking a part off of their Claptrap and attaching another piece or doing other things. And by the end of it, the whole point is trying to make your Claptrap. And there are cards on here that you can scrap someone's Claptrap completely, basically zero it out, which is never good. So yeah, this is a fun little game. It's like $20, so I thought that was pretty neat. It's going to provide some good enjoyment. It's 2 to 5 players, and yeah. So we ran a game of this. I will say that playing this game with 2 players only is very difficult because when you do so, you know that you're attacking the other person, and they're always going to retaliate back. So with a third person, you'd have one other person to kind of like skip a turn or wait or just kind of you'll lose track of who has what. But with 2 players, it's very easy to figure out if there are 2 specific cards in the deck and you've got one of them, and you're allowed to look at the scrap heap cards, the cards that have already been used. One of the rules in the game says that every player has to know or should know what's in the scrap. That way you know if one of the parts is still there or not. That way you can kind of keep track. And yeah, so it's one of those games where you kind of know where all the cards end up anyway. Anywho, it's a fun game. Maybe I'll do a live stream of me playing it with somebody tomorrow. And yeah, so that's the Borderlands board game that they announced, which was by this point everyone was like, "Ah, that's awesome." But where's this announcement for Borderlands 3? And I forgot to mention that soon as the panel started, they went through the teaser for Borderlands 3 and kind of talked about some of the teaser stuff and how everything in that teaser was an asset of Borderlands 3. So they went through freeze framed and like told us about some of the secrets there, which had been mentioned in some leaks this week or yesterday. I can't even say leaks because the teaser came out yesterday, and then people kind of tore it apart hours after it came out and kind of gave us a bunch of info or guesses. If you realize there was a shift code embedded in there, there was a 5 digits on different frames, and if you put it together, it gave you a key that you can put into your copy of Borderlands 2, and it would unlock some content. So it's pretty neat. It would unlock a community skin. So if you can get that key, go and plug that in, and you'll get a specific community skin, which was, I think, it's a Salvador skin. So the Gunzerger. So anywho, that was that, and then of course the big reveal, Borderlands 3, and they tried to show the trailer, and the trailer started skipping. And they showed it, and we were, everyone cheered and clapped and whatever. But you can see Randy Pitchford was not happy. Like, he was like, "Hey, man!" Like, he even stopped. He was like, "Hey, we've waited 5+ years to reveal this game. Let's can you guys want to see that again? Let's get this fixed." And so he was like, you could see that he was like looking off stage and like, fix this crap, fix it. And eventually they did, and they showed it in full 4K, beautiful, smooth. They had the speakers turned up like 3 times louder than you needed to. Every bass note was like shaking your chest and really gave you that emotional feel in that trailer. So if you haven't seen it, go check it out. Can I play it? I might be able to just play it. No, I'm not going to do that right now. Anywho, go check it out. I'll see if I can post the link in the multiple chats. I don't know how that works. I'm using a new method of streaming called Restream. It basically allows me to stream in one place, and it streams at all of our places. So this is streaming on YouTube, on Facebook, and on Twitch all at the same time. It's pretty neat. Let me see if I've got that link. I do not, do I? Let's see. Yeah, here it is. So let me post that. I'm sure everyone's already seen this that watches our channel. So, hey, Tim. So I guess Tim is the only one watching us. I just realized that. Yeah, it's pretty neat, we've got one viewer on Twitch. Well, hey, Twitch viewer. Anywho, yeah, so that was most of my day. For the first half of the day, we stood in line from noon onward. We got to play quite a few games. We played a few of the Game Pass games that were there. I'll be honest with you. I wish I could tell you exactly all the names of what we played. I'm looking through my photos. The day's such a blur. Lots of good pins. Or released. I did. Oh, yeah. Okay. So, that's right. I did get to play early release of Samurai Showdown, which looked fantastic. If you're not familiar with Samurai Showdown, it is an old fighting game from the Neo Geo era. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. I think there's a 5. Yeah, there's a 5. So there's 5 versions of the game. 2D fighter, fantastic Neo Geo. Fighting game, and it looked great. It reminds me very much so of King of Fighters 13 with a mix of Street Fighter 4. It's got that Japanese ink look. Tim, he's asking me. So you guys, if you've heard my talk before, I broke my toe a few weeks ago, and I've been kind of walking on it. So this is this coming Saturday will be 2 weeks since I broke it, and it's okay, man. Like, thanks for asking. It's better. I can stand on it. I can walk on it. The shoe I'm in compresses it, so it holds it pretty well, which is nice. But at the same time, like after a while, the foot, like I can feel the toes like angry at me because it's pressed against so long. So I've been able to kind of power through it. I take some ibuprofen, kind of dull the pain down. But yeah, other than that, I've been able to walk. I think I walked like 5 miles today, just on the floor alone. Man, I'm gonna take better notes at what I did. It was just so much, and what was nice is they extended PAX to 4 days last year, and because of that, it allows you to kind of see more of it. One of the bonus features of that being that Thursday tends to be a very quiet day. So today was the day really to play all the games that you wanted to play. And I will say I played a lot of independent games. Man, I sat down and played a lot of independent games. Pedro played a fantastic kind of a top-down RTS resource management game on PC called Industries of Titan, which looked great. Uh, I played, I did play I played a round of Secret Neighbor, which is it's going to be the sequel. I don't know. Are they calling it a sequel or are they calling it kind of a I don't know what they're calling it. I guess it's like an expansion or a sequel or a part two or whatever of Hello Neighbor. If you're unfamiliar with Hello Neighbor, here let me show you what it is. Hold on one second. Uh, uh, I think my mic is still on. You should be able to hear me. I'm just doing it because I'm don't want to see you guys just get up and down and whatever. Anywho, so Hello Neighbor is, I mean, I'm sure you've got kids or you know anybody young. They've been playing this game, so it's called Hello Neighbor. Uh, this guy right here. I think the premise of the game is you're a kid, you live on a block, and there's your next door neighbor is kind of a creepy dude who is doing some suspicious stuff. I think you witness either a murder or you think he killed someone, and you want to find out, and you know he's hiding stuff in his basement. So the point of the game is like you're a kid who's like trying to break into his basement to find out, and so he's kind of like this NPC that walks around and kind of stalks you, and you're trying to like distract him and move him away so that you can like find keys to unlock the basement and unlock the door and then go down there and expose him. But if he catches you, I think you wake up in your room again, but he learns. So if you keep going through like the same door over and over again, he remembers. And like yeah, it's a kind of a stealth horror jump scare. It's kid friendly, but I say more like early teens. Anywho, my kids like it. They're I don't think it's early teens. I think it's like 8 and up. There's no real violence in the game. I don't know. It's popular. All the kids at my oldest kid's school play it. I kind of gave in on this one. He wanted to play Five Nights at Freddy quite a bit, and I didn't let him play that one. And so I told him that one's off the list. I mean, he's 9. That one's off the list because of the kind of the macabre nature of that. I think there's like kid souls stuck in like animatronics from like Chuck E. Cheese is kind of the basis of that game. So I didn't want to talk about murder of little kids for that game. But Hello Neighbor doesn't tend to have that. But so it's a problematic. It's problematic right now. There's the whole genre of these like scary horror style games for kids, where you don't know if they're meant for kids. They're advertised as kids. You go to like Target, you go to like Walmart, you go to anything. It's advertised on the App Store for kids. So they're definitely marketed and pushed towards kids, but the connotation of the game, the premise of the game is a little creepy, a little scary. So I don't know. Either way, yeah. I'll go off on a tangent. The sequel to this game is called Secret Neighbor. They released a DLC pack for the original game that gave you kind of a co-op, so your friend and you could kind of co-op together and to try to break into his house. This new version of the game is called Secret Neighbor, and you sit down with 5 friends. At least the way the booth works is we all picked with 5 people. We all sat down, and you sit down and you you have different kids with different stats. Like there's basically a healer and a ranger, and it's like all these like different weapons that the kids have. Like the ranger is essentially the one with the slingshot, and the healer is just a kind of a kid with a little medipack. And I decided to pick the support class because I'm a big fan of support class healers and whatnot. And so I picked the support class, and we all spawned in the game, all 5 kids. But the moment you all spawn in, one of the kids gets chosen to become the neighbor. So the way it says is you're the secret neighbor. You have the ability to transform in and out as the turn into the adult, or to Steve, is because it's his name, and you turn back into him, or you turn as a kid. So the premise of this is you're kind of working with them for a little bit, and then you kind of isolate them, and then once you isolate them, you transform and catch them and grab them. And you want to do it as quick as possible so that they don't tell the others. What's nice is everyone's got voice chat, but the game is set to proximity. So as you're walking around the rooms, if you're in a room with another kid, you can hear each other and talk. But if you go around a corner, you're outside of that room, those kids can't hear you. So if I grabbed one of the kids, and I say I because I was the neighbor, and the first thing I did is I didn't realize how it was working. I didn't even know which kid was Pedro, but I grabbed Pedro immediately and drug him. And it's creepy, man. Like, the game is creepy. You grab the kid, and the kid's like squirming, and you're literally turning him into a doll in your hand. So he turns into like a stuffed animal. And then on their screen, they're kind of stuck in like this like kind of prison thing, or like a room that they can't kind of get out. They're waiting to respawn, but they can't. And so my job from here on out is to catch the other 3 kids. And I did. I caught them all. And because I did that, they gave everyone playing. They gave everyone a Steve, a small version of him, and they gave me, the winner, Steve. I mean, he is a big boy. I mean, it's kind of creepy looking for sure. So he's a big guy. What was funny is we took him into the Borderlands panel, and as soon as they gave us the masks, the first thing we did is put one of the masks on him, and we had him on like our shoulders. And of course, it was like we had him on our shoulders, and it was who runs Bartertown? Very Thunderdome-ish kind of scenario. But yeah. So there you go. That was our secret neighbor run. That was fun because we got to play with a bunch of randos. But anywho, I see that our fellow co-host is liking some of my posts for here. Let's I wonder if he's gonna post. I don't want to say what's going on until he gives me the green light. But Pedro, if you're watching, hi. Yeah. Let's see. Anywho, so what else? We played some board games. I sat down and played some board games. Like I said, I played the Borderlands game. I picked up 2 games. I also picked up a copy of... Oh my god. Okay, so he's posted in the chat. So I guess that means I can talk about it. I haven't said anything yet, Pedro. I haven't told anybody or said anything on here. I just said that you were not available for comment, but I might as well, since you just put straight from the ER. Yes, my partner in crime is in the emergency room. He decided to go to dinner with a friend as opposed to staying safe at PAX. I'm gonna give him crap for this. Instead of staying safe at PAX, he went out. He went out slurping. So yes, I don't know the full story. He hasn't really told me. All I know is I get a message from him. Seriously, he goes, this is at 9:30 at night. I get a message. I'm sitting there playing games with Jordan. And he goes, so fell off a stool, cracked head, paramedics, heading to hospital. I guess you were right. Not heading back just yet. So my responses are more like, are you kidding? Are you trolling me right now? And I get a wonderful selfie from the ER. So there you are, Pedro, at the ER. I don't know what happened. He busted his head. And yeah, so I'm glad he's okay. He's obviously commenting and laughing about it. We have more stories, and he's not gonna live this one down for a while. You know what? This is because you told us the story about Jay, about the garage door whacking him and knocking him out. So you told us that yesterday, and we laughed about it. And then somehow or another, you ended up at the ER for a head trauma. So yeah, man, you're not gonna live this one down. Last year, old man, your back gave out, and you were all like, "I gotta go home," and you left kind of early on Sunday because your back. And then one year, I think you had to have like emergency root canal or something here at Boston because your tooth was all messed up. So this is, I feel like PAX Boston was trying to kill him slowly. I don't know what the deal is there. Oh man, um, yeah, he'll be fine. I hope. Let's wish him well. Tim, if you're watching, just send some good thoughts his way. I'm sure he'll be fine. But we can't have. So now I've got the hotel room to myself. Our other friends, one of them doesn't usually stay with us. He's staying with some family. There are two other roommates that we've got in the room, are his brothers who don't come in until tomorrow. So I don't get to game until tomorrow. So thanks a lot, Pedro. Thanks a lot. Yeah, no, Pedro is totally banned from PAX. Totally. Jesus. But yeah, no, he'll be fine, guys. I'll post an update tomorrow as soon as whenever they allow him to leave. Hopefully they do allow him to leave for sure. Hello, man. I don't see as he's here. Half of my PAX experience is experiencing what he played. I know he played some games, and we played a couple of co-ops, a couple of independent games, and I'll get a list of what I played. I always take the flyers of the games that I play, but I don't remember them by name. Either way, tomorrow is going to be another big day. I decided to come upstairs and drink as much water as I can because, man, I was on the show floor walking around and I didn't get enough water today, and I really need to make sure to do that. Eddie, you ripped your pants. Yeah, man, I love you too, brother. Stay hydrated. I'm sure you're on IV, so you'll be fine. You're gonna be better than everybody, actually, drinking more water than everybody, intravenously for sure. You gotta come back and play this game. Jordan and me played it, and we liked it. It's hard to play with two players. Yes. We won't make sure your slow death, your near death, slow down the festivities. No, it's just you're the life of the party, man. Like you're old head. I made fun of you, calling you an old head about your tactical feedback buttons. We were testing out some keyboards at the Corsair booth, and um, us oldies were feeling the different switches for the keyboards, and I had him kind of do which ones do you like, and of course he liked the blue ones, which are the very tactilely, and I'm like, it's because we're old and we used to like the old clickety clackety keyboards. We prefer those. So I called him an old head for that. Anywho, yeah, man. Like, if you guys have been, especially Eddie, if you see anything that you want me to check out on the floor that you've been looking at through the news, by all means, hit me up, and I'll hit up that booth tomorrow and get what I can. It's been great. I'm a big board game player when it comes down to PAX. Once we get here, like, I go to South, and South, the board game section it's not as popular as it is here, and so it's mostly the expo hall and the music and all that. But East is, I get to play more board games with like Pedro and the other ones. But yeah. So again, he'll be fine, guys. For sure. I'm pretty sure he'll be. Oh, Risk of Rain 2. That's right. I don't know if it's gonna be on the show floor. I'll take a look. Yeah. Thank you for reminding me about that. Risk of Rain 2 was announced at the or I guess we already kind of knew it was coming. The developers have been talking about it, but Borderlands or 2K or Gearbox doesn't have a booth. They that's what I was saying. Like, they didn't announce anything until their panel, so they didn't have a booth ready to go to show anything. But Risk of Rain 2 looked amazing, and I can't believe they talked to Randy Pitchford talked about it on stage, and he said that that game is developed by three people, three individuals, which is just uncanny to me that three people could program a game that was that amazing that it like just kind of jaw dropped Randy from Gearbox to go, how are you guys doing this? He pretty much said, this is the game Gearbox would make if we didn't make Borderlands and we only had a team of 40 people. And they have a team of like 400 people and they're making Borderlands 3. So this loot shooter game of Risk of Rain 2 looked that good for a team of 3 people. So independent games, man, they really... Yeah, it looks that good. I still couldn't believe it either. 3 people looked fantastic, and every time, I mean, I think Pedro's jaw was dropped when he was looking at this game, and the death animation, and then the respawn, it drops down the dropship, just totally cool looking game. Let me see if I can find that trailer and drop it into the chat real quick. Let's see. Risk of Rain 2 I'm sure the trailer probably launched today. Yeah, new gameplay trailer. Oh, dev footage. So it looks like they had some playthroughs. I'm gonna have to take a look and see. Oh, I guess it's an early access, but yeah, the early access trailer launched. Let me copy that and paste it into the trailer. Oop, there we go. Yeah, that's it. Here we go. I'll paste it right there. Yeah, I was talking in the lobby with the guys from Pass the Controller. Um, they're a local group of guys that do a show. They're based out of Boston, and so I've been friends with them for a while on Instagram and whatnot. They've got a pretty decent following, but they had an interview, or they interviewed some of the guys from IGN, and they got to play Mortal Kombat 11 on the Switch, and one of the impressions was that Mortal Kombat 11 played really well on the Switch. I asked him if there was any lag or any any weirdness or any like slowdowns, or did the graphics look any worse or whatever, and he said no. He said that the game felt amazing, and that shows the power of the Switch, that the hardware was really tuned specifically for that Unreal Engine 4, which is amazing to me, because that Unreal Engine 4 looks amazing, but the hardware, they from the day one of the Switch, they said that the hardware was tuned specifically for that engine. So again, here we are. Mortal Kombat 11 looks fantastic on it. So yeah, it runs at 60 frames, so it looks good. The Switch has got a huge booth, and it was packed today, so I didn't get a chance to go in. But tomorrow on the agenda, I'm gonna go hit up Streets of Rage 4. They won't allow you to take any footage in that one, but it was right next to another game that I really like. So I'm gonna really hit that floor hard tomorrow. Now that I don't have the Gearbox. Yeah. They really did build that engine for the Switch, Mid-Geek, absolutely. We've got some friends on. We met a nice couple in line while we were in the Gearbox booth that I think are following us now. They're great. April, hey. So yeah, I'm gonna try to hit up. I'm gonna try to hit up a bunch of games tomorrow, and then I'll keep track of what I watch, and I'll do another follow-up video like this tomorrow at the end of the day, for sure. Yeah, what's yeah, Fortnite again at Unreal Engine 4, and that's why they're able to port it. That's why that engine in general is just really versatile. They're able to drop it and make it even work on mobile pretty well. I mean, it runs on pretty much anything, and it runs pretty well at a solid 60 on some pretty old hardware. So again, that engine is a phenomenal engine. Unreal, Epic, those Epic guys really did a good job on that engine, and I think most modern games are being ported to it now. And it goes from like, I'm not gonna say crappy games or graphics, but it definitely goes from it's definitely one of those scenarios where you can make you can make a game look pretty bad with it or really amazing. I mean, we've all seen like the Ocarina of Time and Mario and all that kind of reported um, uh, to like Unreal Engine 4, like someone did like Ocarina of Time and a bunch of other stuff, and it looks amazing. They've got all the bloom effects and whatnot. But then you've got games like Fortnite that could be dropped down to like really like janky, kind of mobile looking if you really wanted it to. And again, the engine is really scalable. So again, a lot of games being ported to the Switch because of it, and which I guess is a smart move. So we'll see if they get announced new hardware. This E3, they might announce new Nintendo hardware, but I don't think they'll make it any beefier because I mean they're not having any trouble running any. If Mortal Kombat 11, which is a brand new game, runs that good on it, we'll see. I will say there's one more game that I wanted to report on. Let's take. There was one other game that I got to play. It was called Supermarket Shriek. It was in the Game Pass booth. The developer was from, I think, Germany, if I'm not mistaken. I gotta double check that. But let me tell you about this game, guys. See if I can find some footage on it. Supermarket Shriek is it's like a course running game. You're a guy in a shopping cart. Hear me out. You're in a shopping cart. Like the game starts off with you like accidentally falling into a shopping cart, and a goat falls into a shopping cart as well. I don't get it either. But you're in a goat and a shopping cart. Both are in it, and so the whole game is you in a shopping cart facing backwards in the shopping cart because you're both kind of sitting next to the goat, and left trigger makes the goat scream, right trigger makes you scream. And so when you both scream, you kind of push the cart forward. If the goat screams, it turns left. If you scream, turns right, etc. So basically all you do is the triggers. You just hold them both down, and then, little meters show you screaming, and it like waves come out. And so you're shooting the shopping cart through grocery stores. It's absolutely the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. And I was cracking up, but I got to find some footage for it. See if I can find some. And it was hilarious. The creator for the game was standing behind me laughing as I was cracking up playing the game. Supermarket Shriek. There it is. Yeah, it looks like the trailer came out 7 months ago, but I got to sit down and play it, and it's absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Here it is. Overwatch on Switch. Yeah, well, there's been rumblings of that for a while, so we'll see what happens. Saturday is always mega packed. Especially they have a whole stage for the Smash Ultimate, so it's a separate stage. See you tomorrow, Jay. Or V, I can't tell which one it was, but one of the brothers was watching us through one of Pedro's brothers is watching us through YouTube. So obviously this thing is streaming everywhere. But yeah, I posted in the chat the trailer for that ridiculous game. It's absolutely hilarious. And yeah, so that was one of the other games that I played. I'm really digging. Microsoft is really kind of not showing major stuff. This is again the second PAX. They showed South and East. Now they've both shown that they're just really pushing the Xbox Game Pass, which again, if you follow us, we've been talking about it, that this is really a good way for developers, independent game makers to get their game out, still get paid for it because of all the subscriptions they're going to get paid for it, as opposed to just being given away. And at the same time, they are able to drop it on their day one. So when a game comes out, people will jump on it and play it, and they'll because it's still on the service, they're going to keep getting paid because of the you know how it works, like a subscription model. So they'll just keep paying, and these developers will make more money probably through the subscription model than if they just got put up for $4 and then no one buys it, right? So anywho, this little game is fun. I think I'm gonna buy it when it comes out because I think my kids would have a freaking field day with this game. just being in a shopping cart and screaming. So yeah, that was my PAX day one. I mean, there was a lot more board gaming and talking, and I took lots of pictures of some cosplay. Like I said, I bought 2 board games. I bought Bang, which is it's a card cowboy game, which I'll post a preview of. It's an old game. People like it a lot. I bought that with all the yeah, well, I mean, yeah, the trailer reminded me of an old show called Supermarket Sweep. Yeah, I'm guessing that's where the pun is, Supermarket Shriek. And then also I bought a game that I talked about on one of the episodes after PAX South, which is called Comanauts, which is an excellent adventure game. It's a story-driven adventure story game where I guess this individual is in a coma, and he's got the I guess like the code or the cure for like some big disease, some apocalyptic ending event. He's got the answer to like solve it, but he's in a coma because of it, and you have to go into his brain, and you play as heroes of his subconscious from his childhood onward, from like old characters from a sitcom to like a cowboy, a superhero. You embody like a teddy bear from his, and you play these characters, and you're basically the avatar of these characters in his head, and you're going through his memories. But there's obviously something there kind of infecting him, like there's villains in his mind kind of stopping you, attacking you, and you have to kind of get through this story. And it's kind of like a choose your own adventure. As you progress, you can choose to go one way or another, and then you flip to certain pages, and then those pages are where you go through that path, and eventually you get to like a final battle in the game, and that might not be the final battle. You're just fighting a specific emotion or whatever. It's interesting. I'll talk about it more when I hopefully I sit down and play it with these guys this weekend. It's always fun to buy a game and kind of sit down and play it. So yeah, that's it, guys. I think I'm gonna stop streaming here. I think I haven't streamed too long, but I don't have much more to talk about, and maybe I've got 2 cameras here, and if Pedro joins us tomorrow, maybe I'll throw the camera up on both of us, and we can both talk and have a wrap up of day 2. All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna get some shut eye. It's 12:30 here, which means I'm not really gonna get some shut eye. I'm probably gonna get a nightcap and whatever. Have a good one, guys.